One thing I need you guys to understand is that, you see, behind all those beautiful pictures and videos that so many people in relationship and marriages post, there are hidden tears and hidden scars that you guys don't know about. Not in every relationship, not in every marriage, no. But majority, behind most marriages and relationships, there are secret tears, secret painful things that people go through. And I would like to I want to use this opportunity to enlighten you guys about some of the things people go through and still come out and smile, be happy, post pictures and videos, that you tell the whole world that they're happy and all of that. There are always the signs. But before I go into that, I want to share with you guys a story. Like you guys all know, like I always say in my videos, if you have any story you want to share, or you have any question you want to ask concerning love, dating, relationship, marriage, divorce, anything related to this, kindly send this copy chronicles@gmail.com. So I've been getting some stories lately, and I want to appreciate all those that has been sending stories, questions, various things to my mail, just to make sure that it's going and all of those things. Thank you so much for taking our time to write to me. I sincerely appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. For all those that are still hesitating, please and please and please, if you have anything to share, don't just keep it to yourself. If you need someone to talk to, I am here for you. This channel is a safe space for everyone, all our viewers, all our fans. So thank you so much for that. So in today's episode, I'd like to read out someone's story. Yes, someone sent me a mail, and of course that person's identity will be kept anonymous. So let me read it out. If there's any question, I'll throw it to you guys. If maybe the person needs advice or something, you guys will kindly advise the person. Thank you so much. So I read. Hello Rusi, I've been following your channel for almost a year now, but I've never had the courage to send my story. The truth is, I don't even know if what happened to me was a failed marriage, a successful deception, or simply a lesson I was destined to learn. I am 34 years old, married for 7 years with 2 children. If you had met my husband and I a year ago, you would probably have called us a perfect couple. Everybody did. We attended weddings together, we posted family pictures together. Every anniversary there would be beautiful photos, matching outfits, romantic captions, and hundreds of comments saying things like, couple goals, may God bless your union, and I tap into this marriage. Before I continue, one thing I've noticed is that a lot of people see pictures of beautiful couples on social media and begin to tap. They'll be like, I tap from your blessing, I tap from your blessing. Mind you, not every beautiful picture you see is a blessing. Be careful what you tap for. Let's continue. The funny thing is that whenever people call those couple goals, I would smile and say thank you. But deep down, I always felt like a fraud, because the marriage people admired wasn't the marriage I was living in. The beginning wasn't like that. When we first got married, my husband was my best friend. Okay, we talked about everything. We laughed together. We stayed up late discussing our dreams. Even when we had little money, life felt rich. But somewhere along the line, something changed. I can't even tell you exactly when. There was no cheating, no major fights, no dramatic event. It was like watching a house develop cracks, one tiny line at a time. The friendship disappeared first. Then the conversations became shorter. Then the affection started reducing. Eventually, we became 2 people living under the same roof. One day, I realized something strange. I knew more about what was happening in my friend's marriage than what was happening in my own husband's mind. Wow. We discussed bills, we discussed children, we discussed family matters, but we stopped discussing ourselves. Sometimes we would sit in the living room for 2 hours without exchanging more than 5 sentences. Yet, if someone looked at our social media page, they would think we were living inside a fairy tale marriage. Then something happened that opened my eyes. One Saturday morning, my husband asked if I wanted to take pictures for social media. I was surprised because we hadn't had a meaningful conversation in almost 2 weeks. Okay, but somehow he wanted pictures. We dressed up, we smiled, we posed, we laughed for the camera. When we finished taking the pictures, some something happened that I will never forget. He handed me my phone and went straight back into the house without saying another word. No conversation, no affection, nothing. It felt like two actors had just finished filming a scene. That evening, I stared at the pictures. Anybody who saw them would think we were deeply in love. But all I could see were two strangers smiling. That was the first time I cried because of a photograph. Things became worse. The painful part wasn't that we were fighting. The painful part was that we had stopped fighting. People think constant arguments are the biggest sign of trouble. Sometimes they are not. It's actually true, kind of. Sometimes the biggest sign is when nobody cares enough to argue anymore. There's a truth in what she just said. We had reached that point. If I was upset, he didn't ask why. If he was upset, I didn't ask either. We were both emotionally exhausted. Then one day, something happened that shocked me. I was scrolling through social media when I saw one of our anniversary pictures from years ago. Hundreds of comments, hundreds. People saying they admired us, people praying for a marriage like ours. Some people were even using our pictures as examples in relationship discussion. Okay. I stared at the comments for a long time. Then I started wondering how many other couples I was secretly envying online were also struggling behind closed doors. That question stayed in my mind. A few weeks later, my husband came home from work and sat down beside me for the first time in months. He looked nervous. Then he said something I wasn't expecting. He said, "I don't think we are happy anymore." I thought I would feel angry. Instead, I felt relieved because somebody had finally spoken the truth. We talked for hours that night, the kind of conversation we should have had years earlier. He admitted he felt disconnected. I admitted I felt lonely. He thought I no longer cared. I thought he had stopped loving me. The reality was that neither of us knew how to fix what was broken. So we simply learned how to hide it. That conversation didn't magically solve our problems, but it exposed them. And sometimes that's the first step towards healing. Today, we are still together. We are still working on our marriage. Some days are good, some days are difficult. But one thing has changed. We no longer try to convince the world that everything is perfect. Because perfection is not the goal. Connection is. The reason I'm sharing my story is because I know there are people watching this right now who are comparing their relationships to what they see online. Thank you, my sister. Very, very important. Please don't. Here I am now. A picture can lie. A caption can lie. A smile can lie. Okay? But reality always tells the truth eventually. My question is this. Have social media and the pressure to appear happy made it harder for couples to be honest about the struggles they are facing? And if you were in my position, what advice would you give us moving forward? I really love the story. I love how she presented the whole issue, how she, it doesn't sound biased. It doesn't sound as if she's saying the story to favor her. That is the way, I just love this story. That is the way stories are meant to be told. If you want a solution to your problem in your marriage, don't come and pose the problem as if everything is your partner's fault. Just say it as it happened. Say it as it is. You don't need to say it as if, say it in your own favor, as if you're not at fault in any way at all. So over to you guys. The question has been thrown to you guys. So please, kindly drop your answers in the comment section so that our lovely sister that sent this message can receive your advice, and probably do better in her marriage, that she can enjoy and not endure her marriage. So quickly, let's get into what we really have for today's episode. You see, behind all those beautiful pictures on social media, like I said in the beginning of my episode, there are a lot of things happening behind the scenes. Yes. So what are the signs that a relationship, a marriage is dying from the inside, even in as much as the couples are posting beautiful pictures and videos of themselves on social media? You see those people that people envy the most on social media. People envy their marriages the most. They are the same people that suffer the most in their marriage. Think about it. Especially among those rich people. Yes, all those celebrities. They are the ones that suffer the most behind and nobody knows about. And that is why you should never compare your real life to someone else's social media highlight reel. Be very careful. The number one sign that a relationship is dying, even if those couples are posting beautiful pictures and videos of themselves on social media, is when communication starts disappearing slowly. Yes, not because they are too busy, no, but because they feel like talking to each other is no longer important. You see a woman, a married woman, that everybody thinks that she's happy in her marriage. She can be talking with her friend for 1 hour, 2 hours, gisting, but she can't even have a 5 to 10 minutes conversation, serious conversation with the husband. They no longer communicate, and they're just like that. They've gotten used to such situation in their marriage. It's bad. You see a married man, he can be with his friends talking about different things. They'll talk about politics, they'll argue, they'll gist, they will laugh and all those things. They'll talk about football, they'll talk about business, various things. You know how guys can be with their friends, but they can't even have a 15 to 30 minutes conversation with their own wife at home. When they now get home, to just, within as if they are too tired to talk. Communication is the oxygen of every relationship and marriage. So when communication dies, that relationship, that marriage starts gasping for air. That is how important communication is. And that is why it is the first sign as a marriage is dying, even when they are posting beautiful pictures and videos on social media. Another sign is when a relationship begins to look better online than it feels in real life. Think about it. This is a very dangerous sign. Yes. Because when couples will take their time to organize events or pictures or videos, just anything that will make them be able to make videos, beautiful pictures and videos for them to just post. They can take a lot of time and money to do that, but time to sit down, talk about the issues that they are having in their marriage, they never have it. They never create it. Not like they never have it. They never create that time to talk about the misunderstanding they had previously and all of that. That is a very dangerous sign. So what they are concerned about is what they'll post about themselves on social media, what people will say about their marriage. People will not send you that you're trying to impress the world, whereas your own marriage is dying. That is why you see a marriage becoming more of performance instead of partnership. That's wrong. One of the most painful signs that a relationship is dying, behind those perfect pictures and videos that people post on social media, is when laughter disappears from that relationship, from that marriage. Think about it. When you guys fell in love for the first time, that moment when all the butterflies in the world are in your tummy. Think about how you felt. Remember when all the little things made you laugh. Remember how you enjoyed each other's company so much. Remember how you looked forward to spending time together all the time. But now, every conversation feels serious. Every interaction feels like work. Every moment feels like an obligation. Everything is just tiring you. Looking so tiring in that relationship, that marriage. The relationship hasn't even necessarily ended, but the joy that keeps that relationship alive has faded. It is a sign that something is wrong somewhere. Another major sign is when one person starts feeling lonely inside that relationship. This type of loneliness is the worst and the saddest type of relationship anyone can experience. It is one thing to be alone, but it is another thing to be in the same room, to be on the same bed with someone and still feel lonely. That is the worst. You can post couple pictures every weekend and still feel emotionally abandoned in that marriage. Your pictures do not show the emotional distance between you and your spouse. You can continue celebrating anniversaries year after year, and still feel unseen in that. These marriages don't end because they stop loving each other. No, sometimes it is because one person felt neglected for too long and decided to end everything. Some couples have mastered the art of pretending. First class pretense. The moment visitors arrive, they're already smiling. The moment camera comes out, they are holding hands, they are behaving lovey-dovey, they are kissing, hugging, being romantic. The moment social media is involved, they start acting like best friends, they start acting like best husband and best wife of the year. But behind closed doors, they barely even speak. A relationship that survives based on appearance usually collapses under reality. That is the painful truth. Another sign, very important, is when arguments never truly get resolved. The main issue is not that couples fight, because sometimes couples tend to disagree on some things, but you disagree to agree eventually. But the main issue is when the same argument keeps coming up every month now and then, but still not dealt with, still not talked about, still not resolved. That is a problem. Every time you argue with your partner, you just end up sweeping things under the carpet. Sweeping things under the carpet does not mean it has been resolved. A lot of couples look happy online because they become experts in avoiding difficult conversations. But one thing I need you to understand is that avoidance is not peace. Silence is not healing. Ignoring a wound does not mean it has disappeared. So learn to resolve your issues in your marriage. Resolving it will help you guys to move on. But when you don't resolve it and you feel like you've moved on, one day it will still come up again. Another very important sign is when appreciation disappears in a marriage. See, nobody loves feeling invisible, whether married or not. That is generally speaking, nobody likes feeling invisible, especially in marriage. The woman wants her efforts to be seen, and she wants to know that her efforts matter in that marriage. A man, on the other hand, wants to know that his sacrifices are being noticed. But when appreciation disappears, resentment automatically takes its place. And resentment is very dangerous because it grows silently. And one day, your partner can explode, one person in that marriage can explode over something very small. Not because the issue is actually small, because all those years of feeling unappreciated has reached its breaking point. And when this happens, there is emotional withdrawal. This is now the stage where one person or the two of you can be physically present in that marriage but emotionally absent. That is, gone far away in that marriage. They're still showing up, they're still in the marriage, they're still posting pictures, but their heart has checked out. The scary thing about emotional withdrawal in a relationship, in a marriage, is that it happens before the actual breakup happens. Then by the time the marriage has now ended in divorce or separation, one person has already gone so far, too far emotionally, which is really bad. When a relationship becomes more transactional instead of partnership, instead of emotional, it is very, very dangerous. A lot of relationship in this our generation is now transactional. If you give me money, I'm your babe. If you're not giving me money, I don't respect you, I don't give a fuck about you. That's really bad. If you're in a marriage where every conversation with your partner is transactional, give me money for school fees, give me money for food, for groceries, for this, you guys don't talk. Each time you even open your mouth to even speak at all, you're talking about bills. There's nothing wrong with talking about bills. But what I'm saying is that, what about other things that you guys used to talk about when you guys were still lovey-dovey? Don't forget those little things. There are things that will help you guys to continue to reignite the love, the spark in your marriage. The problem is when responsibilities become the only thing left in that marriage. That is what leads to that transactional marriage. Because every marriage needs connection and not just coordination. Please learn to appreciate you. Don't wait until Mother's Day or Father's Day, please. You can use it as an opportunity to appreciate your partner. Yes, but you don't need to wait. Even if that's past, you can just look for one beautiful Sunday morning and just decide to do something special. Any day, any time that is perfect for you guys. So what I'm trying to say is, as often as possible, try to appreciate your partner. Keep that love and connection going. It is very, very important. Because life comes with its own challenges and troubles, and when you guys are not united, you will not stand, you will fall. Because united you stand, but divided you fall. So that is all I have to say for today's episode. Hope you learned something. I did too. But yeah, I learned something as well. So thank you so much for listening to my video today. Thanks so much for watching. And please, to all those that have not subscribed, kindly subscribe to my channel. Also like and comment. Tell me what you think about today's video. Tell me other signs that you have noticed or seen or heard about relationships and marriages where people post beautiful pictures, say romantic captions on social media, but inside their marriages, inside their house, things they saw. You can kindly share the signs that you saw in such marriages as well. Kindly drop them in the comment section. And also, before I forget, if you have anything to say, you have a story to share, you have a question to ask about love, dating, relationship, marriage, or divorce, kindly send it to Chronicles@gmail.com. There I will be able to see it and attend to you. I'll read it out here and people can advise you from their own point of view, from their own experience, from their own understanding. So thank you so much for all those that have been sending their stories and everything. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys for all you do for me in this channel. So that's all for today's episode. Thanks so much for watching. See you on another episode of Juicy Baby. Bye.